Hello everyone. Going to be going live here in just a second. I've got a new computer. This is very exciting news. Very cool stuff. Should hopefully solve at least some of the audio and video issues, and should be able to solve the rest here in a little bit. And also some game client issues that I've been having here on the live stream. So that's all awesome, but I'm not quite ready to go live yet. That's why I'm running just a few minutes late. I had everything set up like you think you do, and then you actually try to go live, and you're like, oh yeah, right, 2FA. And then it takes an extra 5 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager, Cordovan, and I'm here today after, it's been a little while, I guess. Just to kind of hang out with you, do some questing. I was here last week, but still feels 2020 still feels, pretty new to me. So there we go. Real quick, I think I got one more. You thought you were done because you were live. Haha, this is not true. However, that's got that fresh computer smell. Everything is so fast. I can't believe how quickly all these pages load. And then 6 months later, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Oh, here we go. Want to make sure I can actually see the fine folks on Facebook, and I cannot currently do so because I'm waiting for a thing to load. Anyway, along with that new browser smell is a whole bunch of pop-ups. Would you like to have this thing to constantly bug you about something? Just thought you might like it because, you like being bugged with messages while you're doing other things, right? Let's give this one more shot here. I'm almost there, everyone. Almost. However, this is going to be kind of rad because I do have a new computer set up. Things should be working pretty good. And they aren't looking pretty good as far as I can tell. There we go. All right, hello, Michael, Jet, Drazen, Fran, over on Facebook, Connor, Ashakra, FSH Shmo, Connor, Daroon, Al J, Soft Snake, Snorblom, Sekanter, Wayward, Osirian, and everyone else over on LotroStream. Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager, and I am going to be live doing some Veils of Anduin stuff here later today. I'm going to have the latest news. We can talk a little bit about Bulver coming up. We can talk a little bit about our latest plans and do whatever kind of Q&A makes sense for you. So, welcome everyone. Hope you're having a good weekend. Tolkien World, what's my opinion about Andang? I like Andang. I don't know. It's awesome. He makes lots of great videos. And so does everyone else. Everyone's awesome. Well, let me tell you about that guy. No, it's of course not. Yeah. Hitching a bit. Okay, well that may just be kind of something I'm going to have to work out here. Anyway, one of the main things we did this week on the public side is we released an update to Bull Roarer for update 25.3. This was our second preview on Bull Roarer. It's the new Minas Morgul instances. Houses of Lamentation, the Halls of Black Lore, and the Fallen Kings, which is a second ager. Meanwhile, this week on the kind of in the office, I got it. Me and some other people got the release notes all put together. That's actually going out for localization today, if that gives you some sense of the timeline of when it might be released. Potentially targeting next week, potentially. We'll see how things go. We did do some other things in there as well, like woodworker and weaponsmith recipes from the Reclamation of Minas Ithil reputation vendors will no longer bind on acquire. It'll make them consistent with the jeweler, metalsmith, and tailor recipes. Thanks for calling that one out. Helped us track it down. Minas Ithil minstrel instrument recipes available for barter with the White Company quartermaster will no longer require woodworker crafting guild reputation to barter or use. These recipes also no longer bind on acquire. We're doing what we intended to do, re-relic Minas Ithil and sigils of Imlad Ithil, and you can now receive one relic of Minas Ithil in exchange for 50 sigils of Imlad Ithil instead of the inverse once you have reached standing the reclamation. Wait, you want to take the thing you got more of to make the thing you have less of? Is that what you're telling me? Anyway, that was actually the plan all along, but it got flipped last patch, 25.2. That'll be fixed here in the near future. So anyway, we had a Bulwark preview this week, and that's what's going on. So that should be potentially out next week. That would mean potentially the new instances next week. Yes, indeedy. We'll see how things go. On the performance side, NFSK Ruto, we are working on various things. We've been looking very carefully into the environment in recent weeks. We made some adjustments, and we're continuing to do so. It's kind of an ongoing process. Hopefully, we see things improve for you. Stay tuned, Tim99X. It could potentially be live next week, but that's a potential. That's not a guarantee. So we'll see how things go. All right. There was something I wanted to bring up. Yes. Thank you very much, Cole Cash. Here, actually, before I do so, let me see where I am on Twitch here. I guess I'm standing in a somber enough pose that this is worth doing here. So thank you very much for bringing up yesterday's passing of one of the more important figures in Lord of the Rings, and that is Mr. Christopher Tolkien himself passed away yesterday at the advanced age of 95. And we wish him, I wish him, and so does the world, wishes him the very best on future travels, or however you wish to say so. But I'd like to just take a quick moment of silence here on the live stream just to pay a brief tribute to Christopher Tolkien in whatever way you would prefer. All right. That being said, yes, Bez V. Zanme, we are going to be working on a new producer's letter in the near future. We're not there yet, but we are getting there very quickly. So hopefully we'll have more information in the coming month or two. But it's not yet. All right, so where do I find myself? I find myself on Tolkien. With my good friend Gandalf, Elrond, and Glorfindel. Yeah, we're buddies, you know. Gandalf, you know, I mean, he knows Stampion, the Stout Axe champion. Let me tell you, I'm just saying that we hang out sometimes, like right now on Tolkien, and that's what we're doing here today in game. So We are here and must now learn what we can from this shade. Let courtesy guide your words, Stampion, for such windows on the past are rare and must be carefully opened, lest they close for good.
The bonds of sleep in which I was held are loosened, but some still remain. What is it you wish to know?
Okay. The same as you. The Shade of Isildur asked me to retrieve a weather-stained coffer from the encampment of Sharky's Slough, southwest of Tolkien. So let us head to the west, yet south. Nothing to announce regarding PvMP changes. I would, as soon as I've got something cool to share, I guarantee you, I will do my best to make it so. Nothing that I can pass along about classwork either yet. We're not there yet. I know that Baston does have other duties as well. One of the things that he is working on is some itemization work to basically get things in a better place. I think especially on the lower end, some short-term systemic work he's doing to really kind of make the lower end gear system fall more in line with the upper end gear system, so that, I think largely so that when they need to do systemic changes, they don't have to do it twice. And that makes sense. So I think that's temporarily where he is, but he does clearly have classwork going on as well. But I will let the release notes most likely speak for him on that. Uh-oh, you guys are getting buffering, huh? Could be I've got something wrong going on my broadcast. I don't want to try to see if I can quick drop this to a side window and survive. Okay, I'm okay. Done. Watch my health here a second. How about I do that? Alright, so yeah, it doesn't look too choppy on my end here. At least not that I'm seeing it. But you guys are getting some buffering issues, huh? Maybe it's a regional thing. Maybe there's some kind of regional Twitch issue going on. I just had it going during that combat in the side window, and it seemed to be not even framey or anything. It seemed to be okay. Oh, I would love Ray to get that quality of life change, to let a Stout Axe return to the 21st, or 21st Hall. Alright, I'm actually seeing comments really across the board here, so just to be on the safe side, let me take a look at something, see what I can do. How about I lower the bit rate just slightly? Okay, let's see if that makes a little bit of a difference. There we go. I could drop the graphics just slightly, but I don't want to drop it too much. Say this is a brand new computer, so I'm still kind of feeling out some of these things. We'll see if that helps a little bit. I did notice that I don't yet have DX11 installed, so that could be something I just need to do yet that I haven't done. Alright, what am I actually doing here? Retrieve the weather-stained coffer. Weather-stained coffer. That's got to be basically right here amongst these enemies. Okay. Sprint, we'll have to remember that. Fight on, I will remember that. Fear nothing! Let's see what we do. Well, what I'll do is I'll take a look, like I often do. It's fun to watch yourself on video after you go live. No, it isn't. But what I'm saying here is what I will do after the show today then. As long as people are saying they can hear me fine, and things generally look okay but a little choppy, then I'm just going to let it go. And then when I get off the air this afternoon, I'll take a look at the video, just kind of see specifically what's going on with it, and then work to address it here for next week. But nonetheless, should have a fewer crashing issues. Like we had kind of a computer that was pretty powerful, but it was starting to age out a little bit, and so I think some of the pieces were just starting to get a little old in the tooth, or long in the tooth, as it were, in terms of functionality. I think some like the video card was maybe going. Maybe the hard drive too. I don't even know. But I was having some crashing issues, and so finally, our fine IT folks were able to get a new computer here for the live stream. Well, I'm definitely not losing 5 to 10 seconds of every 30. I agree also, Ponton. I was just thinking about that today. I know that we have the technical capability to update the box art as displayed on Twitch for Lord of the Rings Online. So I know from a technical perspective we can do it. What I don't know is whether or not I could do it without sort of various chain of command approvals and things like that that might need to take place. So I'm going to have to dig into that question and see what we can do. I mean, that is sort of our, I think, still official box. I think that's why it's being used. But certainly, maybe we could mock up something for like Minas Morgul or something like that. That might be pretty rad. And then as we, you know, tell you more about the year here this year, it'd be kind of neat to actually keep that updated, although that sounds like a task for me. I don't have time for. We have stuff to do! No, like release update 25.3 and the new Minas Morgul instances here in the near future. And then a little thing called a raid. That'll be coming in the relatively near future. Got a producer's letter to write, 2020 stuff to execute on. We're a busy studio. Oh, I forgot to bring it with me. For those of you who want, I normally never do anything Lotra related on DDO stream. However, there was a little bit of corporate news that may have hit your desk in the past, let's just say past 3 to 4 days, that was interesting enough that it warranted me making a mention of it on Wednesday's live stream for DDO stream. I do the same incompetent job there as I do here every Friday at noon Eastern on Twitch. Anyway, so we were in the Boston Globe. And not only were we in the Boston Globe, but we made the front page of the business section on Tuesday of this week. And that was pretty awesome. One of their reporters, I guess, I actually wasn't involved in the process whatsoever. But a reporter from the Boston Globe reached out to Sev and got a couple of quotes about, you know, the main topic, as it were, in Lord of the Rings these days. Not yesterday's news, obviously, about Christopher Tolkien, but prior to that, the Amazon thing. And put together an article really about Standing Stone Games as a studio in a way that was pretty cool. We don't really see ourselves a whole lot in the local paper, especially not front page of the business section. And so that was kind of neat. But I know, I heard from a few of you that you saw it in your local paper as well. And that means it probably made it to the Associated Press wire or one of similar, and ended up getting distributed that way. So I wonder how many Standing Stone Games references made it into our local, let's just say, probably Tuesday, Wednesday newspapers around the country here this week. That was kind of neat. So yeah, we're still on track. I would say Dalibor, in regard to Dalibor, huh? Yeah, on track to release six-person instances next week. Nice. All right. So thanks for asking that question. Any plans to add Figments of Splendor, Curator, and other vendors to the Lotro event schedule? I don't feel confident enough in it at this point to do so. There are some reasons why we have not yet done so. It's an ongoing discussion. Sorry, I don't have anything to announce there. Any news about the ability to change your race? That should be coming, hopefully, a little bit sooner rather than later. As soon as we have more information for you, we will. Also, the other big topic of recent weeks, character transfers. We started to make a little bit of progress that you were able to see visibly this past week with character copies to Bullroarer enabled. However, unfortunately, it came with about a 20% failure rate. Clearly, that's not something we're going to do for actual character transfers, and so a little bit more work is necessary before we fully roll that out. But you got a bit of a snapshot of where we currently sit in the process this week with the release of character copy to Bullroarer, which for about 80% of you was absolutely fine, worked great, was real quick, and you got to preview on Bullroarer with no issues. But unfortunately for those who did run into issue, there wasn't much we could do about it at this point. We have to basically do another iteration in the future to correct it.
King Isildur plans to return to Deengarth in order to inspect the defenses.
Gather wood and stone from around Deengarth and patch up the fortifications. You will impress King Isildur with the sweat of your brow, and I shall impress him with my foresight and leadership. Look, too, for resting soldiers and get them moving. To see such sluggards lazing about would surely offend the king's eye. Go then and see these tasks done. Neat. Okay. I will do that. Hey, Blood, how's it going? Probably the encoder is set too high, slow for 1080p. Yes, I agree with you, Bloodborne. I think that is probably the problem. But I don't want to kill the stream midway to resolve it. So I'm just going to let it go. Get all zen about it, or frozen about it. Depending which generation you are, I guess. And do that. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing. Otherwise, I don't know. Things have been cooking along pretty good here. Like I said, we do have the Minas Morgul instances coming along, and the raid is cooking along just fine as well. So that's going pretty good. You know, we got back from work. We're now, several weeks into the new year. Full steam ahead on development has been going on for a little while here. So all back to business, and got a lot to talk about, I think, here in the new year. We know, frankly, that you don't know a lot at this point about our 2020 plans, and we want you to know that in the real near future. So hopefully we'll have some information to pass along to you about what to expect, say, this summer, later on this spring, perhaps a little bit about the anniversary as well, and a few other things in a producer's letter that hopefully we can get to you sooner rather than later. Any news on the forum changes? No. It's been... Honestly, it's been probably like a month since I heard the topic come up. That's not to say it's not going to happen, though. We just don't... We have other necessary, I think, things that are just being prioritized over it. But it is very much something that we need to do it. For those who are like, say, the what now? There's a plan in the works, really more, not 100% solid, but pretty close, in which we will be updating the forums for Locher.com. We know, I know, because I have to do it constantly, how slow the Locher forums are, and that we need to do something about it. So that is something that we will be doing, hopefully, in the near future. I can't guarantee it's going to be this year. There was a time where I thought it was going to be this past year, and then other priorities just got in the way, as they tend to do sometimes. And there we are. So, but potentially what we would do is probably move to something like, or maybe a kind of a vBulletin cloud-like solution, something like that. And what that would allow us to do is really detach, once and for all, the forums from, say, Locher.com. And that would include your account logins. So you would no longer need to log in to Locher.com, the forums in particular, with your game credentials. You would have a separate set of credentials for the forums, just like basically any other forum that you use. That's a big deal, because we have, legacy usernames and just by the thousands and all sorts of stuff, right? So, but I do think the way it will probably work, at least the current thinking on it, would be that we would take Locho's forums, the Locho forums as it were, and put it into a read-only state for the long term. So it would be a long-term archive that would be hosted essentially by us, and would be available for people without login to see throughout, probably not some of it, but most of it throughout, probably not the reported post section, and and then be able to copy-paste into the new forums if they want to. But we will really be bringing the forums up to 2020 in a way that, oh my god, can we please? So, I think that's the official terminology. Is, oh my God, can we please? And hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later. But we understand that's also a big deal. I know, because I am a veteran of the forum wars. I know quite a bit about usernames and how important they are to people, up to and including myself. So we've got some ideas about how we can deal with that, including stealing someone else's well-known username. You know, your Pontins, for example, right? Hi, Pontin. But like someone tried stealing your username or something like that, we can make that an infractable offense. At the very least, we could do that. But there may be some other things we could do as well. Oh, great. Thank you for Remenware for bringing up the legendary worlds, because I want to make sure you all saw that we are going to be bringing Riders of Rohan to the legendary world of Honor and Ithil in mid-February. That is already known, so that's going to be happening here in the near future. We're divorcing the Rohan housing update from it in order to be able to get it out in that time frame, but we are still doing Rohan housing. All right, let me quick get a look at chat. Phil Newell, you've had some crashing issues in recent weeks, you report. I know that we did some work regarding the Steam client deliverable. I believe that work was done on Monday. So there was a period of time between the release of update 25.2 on, if I recall, Thursday of last week, and Monday, and when there was an issue with the Steam payload, as it were, for the Lotro game client. And how that manifested was basically a crashing issue, as perhaps you experienced. That, just in case that's the thing you're talking about, right? So, that has been corrected. For those already affected, what you need to do is go to the repair options and repair the game client. Repair should take care of it. And that may resolve your issue. If there's something else going on, I know that we've taken a lot of work of the environment in recent weeks, and we'll be continuing to do so, making optimizations as we can, and looking at a few other things. We were able to catch up on a little bit of kind of maintenance-related tech debt, as it were, within the past week or so, and that has at least made some difference for some folks. Sorry, it has not seemed to resolve all the issues for you, but it is something we're taking a look at. Yes, I am not here today to be able to announce when Rohan housing will be released. I'm sorry. What I can say is that we are still bringing it, and we'll probably have something about it on the producers level. And oh man. There's at this point, there's still a few bits and pieces that are pretty critical to getting out a good timeline for 2020 publicly that we just kind of need to either lock down or make sure all little kind of odds and ends have been taken care of before we can release the producer's letter, which isn't even written yet. So there you go. But just per usual, the writing of it is the thing that takes the least amount of time. And the being able to say X, Y, Z, A, B, C is the thing that takes the most. So. But we got a biggie. That's why things have been so quiet. Might have some pretty big news here within the next 3 to 4 months. How's that for a tease, jerk? Yeah, sorry. Almost. He'll be in the producer's letter, I think. I don't, off the top of my head, because I've frankly been busy doing a bunch of other things, I don't off the top of my head know what the Bull Roar's schedule is looking like for next week. If we're releasing the instances, it seems unlikely to me that we would probably have a Bull Roar, but I think if the instances are not yet ready to release, or for whatever reason something happens there, then I think it's more likely we would have a Bull Roar. So I think it's a little up in the air at this point, depending on how things come together in the coming couple of days, couple of business days. Fill the houses with a million hooks. I like it. Yeah, we all like them, don't we? I hear ya. No, I think, this is an opportunity to further iterate on what we've done, say, with Cape of Belfalis and things like that. So I think on the team side, there's actually quite a bit of excitement about it, because it's going to be a lot of work, but it should be pretty cool. And it gives us an opportunity to maybe look at a few things and make some changes. So we're real excited to work on it, too. I speak to the person working on it. He's like, oh my god, I don't want to do it. No, I'm kidding. The race change was was maybe seen but not felt, as it were. Oh gosh, I now have Twitch up. Yeah, so I have. So on YouTube, I have stream health as pretty good. And let me take a look. But then I just saw a super pixelated thing, and that's not good. So, and I'm still seeing a pretty good video without a lot of hitching when I call up the Twitch dashboard. That's the thing that's got me a little puzzled. My bit rate is excellent, is according to the Twitch dashboard. And I'm not really an in-game, I'm swinging around and moving around without any real hitching here, so things are looking fine there. But, okay, I see it. I see it now. Yeah. Okay. Let me drop the bitrate a little more, see if I can. Or maybe up the bit rate. Maybe that's the problem. But let's see. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try the reverse. Join me, shall you? I could, if I was a proper YouTuber or Twitch streamer, I would turn this into content. Here's how you adjust your Twitch settings. I'm not just adjusting my Twitch settings live on the air. No, this is a tutorial. I'm bringing information to you. There we go. It is awful Twitch. Okay, I see what you're seeing now. I bet Twitch is having an issue. Because I'm not seeing that elsewhere. But I will check into things after the show and fix it up for next week. As long as you can hear me and can kind of have this going in the background, I think we should be able to squeak together a show. But I apologize for the technical difficulties. I guess I still have some work to do on this new computer. On the computer side here, though, things are looking pretty good. So it must just be a bit rate or a technical kind of bandwidth concern that we need to take care of.
I'm afraid you have come too late to join the festivities, friend.
Okay. Now I'm going back to Deangarth. Nothing to announce in regards to PvMP work. I know it's a popular topic. As soon as I've got some information to pass along, I will. I have passed along a similar request to that of Veridir regarding a different way of delivering virtue XP when completing a deed. Perhaps in the future we can do something about that. Phil has popped in here since we're getting towards the latter days of the show. That Grifflet stream, we've got a lore question coming up. That's with Corey Olson here in the near future. The other big thing that's happening this weekend, and this is probably totally the biggest event of the weekend in Lotro, I'm gonna say, and that is Winterstock. And Winterstock is taking place on Landreval near Thorin's Gate, and that actually kicks off today and runs through the weekend. You're home for it. You know, some years we've had some level of it here, some years we've had more and less of it. This year, Druid's Fire is taking lead on the streaming of it because she has the basically the time and ability to get it done. I myself have just got too much going on this weekend, so I'm sorry. But also, it'll be good to have it on that channel, which is twitch.tv/druidsfire. And that's, if Winterstock's going on, you're not in game and you want to check things out, twitch.tv/druidsfire today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of great highlights and bands and things like that on YouTube and elsewhere. All the bands that are participating, there are quite a few of you. It's an amazing event. And thank you so much for being there. I wish you all the absolute best of luck. And the organizers always do an amazing job. And hopefully that continues this weekend as well. Hopefully everything goes great. I bet it does.
This disrespect cannot stand.
Vamosil.
Yes? Ah, thank you for the welcome.
I must ask you not to use that name. At our uncle's request, my brothers and I have agreed to take on false names in order to hide that we are kindred with the kings. You may call me Vemasil. Vemasil? Vemasil?
This siege has lasted for years. It can wait for one meal.
So, on the question about the race changes not being on Bullroar, the reason they were not on Bullroar is that they're still being kind of QA'd internally and all that, so they're not quite yet ready for a public preview. If there were some kind of pieces that slipped into this week's Bullroar, there's probably a reason for that. You know, we're making progress, but it's not yet ready for preview, so that would be why it would maybe appear somewhere but be unavailable to you on Bullroar. I should probably do that for the live stream. Make it just slightly easier for people to maybe read some of this quest text. I have not heard of plans to, say, fully rework the racial trait system. I think I'll be fine, Bloodborne. I think I just didn't get it set right this morning when I was setting things up. I'll just take a look at where it sits when I'm not trying to actually broadcast onto 3 separate channels, and this kind of hitching issue should be gone by this afternoon. Should hopefully be resolved by next week. But I appreciate the willingness to kind of work with me on the tech side. If I end up needing that, I will let you know. Dalibor, I don't want to commit to a day yet of next week for the release date. There is, something we're kind of thinking of internally, but until that actually becomes more solid, let's keep it that way. Yeah, John, regarding PVMP, Steadfast Barrage, some of its geometry needing some additional work. I'm pretty sure the fine folks who need to be are aware of that one. Hopefully we'll see something in the future there. No, I did not get an RTX card. It's not that fancy. We're not dropping $1,000 on a graphics card for this thing. But no, Yiki, that has not been confirmed. It was mentioned by a Lotro streamer that PvP was coming with Rohan on Legendary. Has this been confirmed? No. I don't know where that came from. That is nothing I have heard. Mr. Alexman, any word about the kinship update that never happened? Hopefully, something we can get to in the future. But you're right. Sometimes there are things that show up in producers' letters that, while accurate as of the time of publication, ended up getting shifted around just due to the realities of game development. So, I believe some of the kinship work that was planned for 2019 may have fell victim to that. But that doesn't mean it's gone, scrapped, canceled, whatever kind of buzzword you want to use. That just means as soon as it gets prioritized, it will be. Will free legendary server transfers be extended to compensate for the time transfers have been done? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, I don't quite understand the nature of that question. Whatever the policy on character transfers are for the legendary worlds prior to them going up would be adjusted by any kind of adjustments we might make for the character transfer system in the future. So. Well, I hate to tell you this, Ponton, but I kind of think they might not spend that much on me for a video card on this computer either. So it's probably something like a 1060, 1070, something like that. And equivalent, maybe a GeForce. I actually haven't checked the tech on it yet. I'll have to do that. Are we planning to release the, quote, original loot tables 85 for Legendary Worlds? No. The loot as presented for the Riders of Rohan on Legendary will be the same system as available on the live game worlds. And the items, although who knows what we're going to do between now and then regarding kind of updates, changes, and things, but the core of it is going to stay the same. It's not going to be like one for Legendary and one for not. Someone on Twitch is asking me for my personal opinion on the state of champions, and I'm not qualified to answer that. There's lots of talk on the forums that would do a better job than I of getting into that for you. I don't know if I would say they need attention desperately, but I don't think... I would not describe the state of champion as in, like, we need to do a hotfix style kind of thing. Do we need to do work on them? Sure. Probably everything we need to do work on, as always. And I would imagine that work will be done at some point, when time permits. So I guess that's my response. I hear ya, see ya, we see the threads, and as soon as we have something that we can say, we will. But I personally, if you want my personal opinion, do not believe that champions are in a position that we need to, like, take down the game worlds to fix. So, I'm playing one right now, which I realize is completely not the point, because I'm not running, say, high-level raids, things like that. So, we're aware. I know that Vastin is aware and does have an intention to work on champions along with basically every other class forever on class balance. So. Yeah, some of that T-posing stuff got taken care of there, Sikantor, thanks. So the thing I wanted to avoid was the kind of response I see, which is, you probably don't care about champions, and that's not true. You know, I value everyone's feedback on champions, and it's not my place to really even have a personal opinion on champions. My job is to listen to your opinion and pass it along, which is exactly what I'm doing. So I will be continuing to do, I should say. And I think we actually managed to get that done. Sorry for ending on a bit of a down note. Hopefully everything's okay there. All classwork needs to be done. We'll be having seeing that that stuff that you've seen on the about champions on the forums. Yeah, specifically the work on champions would be, I would imagine, fairly systemic and targeted, as Carzarius over on YouTube says, probably really focused on a lot of kind of end game concerns and concerns from raiders, things like that. So I do think that when that work is done, the feedback that we're getting from you in those forums, you know, high level end game raids, higher difficulty, group content, things like that, that is what we would be looking to address. All right, thanks very much for watching, everyone. I'll be back next Friday at noon for more Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Stay tuned for Corey Olsen if you are live, if you're sticking around on Twitch. Otherwise, you can find our full schedule over on twitch.tv/LocherStream. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.